were you saying again? Now I'll just slow it down.
I'm over here stroking my I got lotion on my dick right now.
My tip creaming right now. My tip sticky.
Welcome to my channel. Number 1 victory royale. Yeah,
I'm gonna be all up in your feet.
10 kills on the board right now. Just wiped out tomato town.
Oh my god, it's new ponies! My Little Pony has finally released the 5th chapter of Make Your Mark, and today I'm here to cover it because it never ends, that's why! Kidding, all jokes aside. It feels like I just talked about chapter 4 last month, but I guess Hasbro dropped another chapter on us, so I'm here to talk about it. I have zero expectations for this new chapter because I just want it to be good. Please be good, and I'm just hoping for the best. Fair warning, this review will contain spoilers for the new chapter of My Little Pony G5, so you have been warned. Okay, let's get on with the quote-unquote review, shall we?
Damn, Masky, run that shit back.
For everything, every time, I'ma win every time. That bitty look like a dime. That bitty look like a dime. Got my case to pass the time. Got these K's to pass the time. I gotta put a hoe in line.
Alright, chapter 5, episode 1, A Cutie Blossom Bash. The episode starts off in the, what is this van called again? I don't know. And the gang are on their way to the Cutie Blossom Bash. Misty is all nervous and asks where they're going. Sunny then explains that the Cutie Blossom Bash, it's basically an event where all the young fillies come get together and celebrate them getting their new cutie marks. And then Sunny and the gang then reminisce on their cutie mark stories, on how they got their cutie marks. Look, all I'm gonna say is this, I'm not about to go too in depth on each one of these backstories, only because most of them are obvious, like Zip Fast, Pip Sings, Hitch Nice, Izzy Garbage, etc, etc. I honestly think that these backstories, albeit better late than never, to how they got their cutie marks and what formed their personalities going forward is a nice touch, and I will applaud them for that. A little golf clap. But one cutie mark story I like to make fun of is Sunny's. So basically, Sunny as a child was selling lemonade to the people in Maritime Bay, and everything's going fine and whatnot, but then two ponies are about to argue over the last lemonade that Sunny made. So what does Sunny do? Gets another cup and pours the rest of the lemonade into another cup so that way both of them can have lemonade. Why is this important? Well, geez, I wonder what happened 500 years ago when this almost one-to-one exact same situation happened. Very interesting. It's just funny how all of a sudden Sunny can just magically stop this problem from happening. But 500 years ago, no, Twilight, can't do that. The gang then meet up with Queen Maven at Zephyr Heights, where they get Misty ready for the Cutie Blossom Bash, and Misty finally gets a new hair color. Then the Musk Monster and the rest of the gang then meet up with the other ponies to get ready to start the event. But it actually turns out that, Misty's the oldest one there, and they're all fillies. Womp 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 womp. And Misty gets embarrassed. Then Misty gets socially awkward at dinner with Queen Maven and the rest of the other fillies. Oh my god, guys, so relatable. Then as soon as Misty's about to get on stage with the rest of the other fillies, she then gets stage fright and then doesn't go on stage. She then confronts her friends about it, stating that she's too shy and that she doesn't want people to know the real her. And then her friends are like, why didn't you just say something earlier? And then Misty doesn't go on stage, and then they celebrate in their own way by planting a tree and singing about it. God damn it. So after they sing about some shit, I wasn't paying attention. Then finally, Misty's then all like openly still out there, guys, and we need to do something about it. And the gang is like, okay, how? And then Misty's like, I'll be a double agent. And then the gang is like, oh, okay. And then the episode just ends. You know, for Make Your Mark standards, that wasn't a bad premiere at all. Overall, I felt like that episode was a bit rushed at some points, fine at others, and insufferable at points. I do overall think that this is a decent episode to start things off with this new chapter. Now, will that momentum be carried forward into the next couple of episodes I'm about to watch? I don't know. We're about to find out though. With actually, for the first time ever, a mid-season two-parter called Family Trees. So for this one, I'm just gonna talk about it all in one instead of talking about each episode individually. I'm just gonna act like the two episodes are just one big episode. So the episode starts off with a dream that Misty's having about her being a kid and being in a spooky forest. But then she sees a mysterious door and a creature appear. But then she wakes up from the dream and then tells the gang about it. Sparky's sick also too, I guess. The gang then go to Bridlewood Forest to see if they can uncover Misty's visions. But instead they just do random random bullshit until something happens. Spoiler alert, nothing happens. Then after doing nothing, the gang then decide to go to the wishing tree that Misty saw in one of her visions, and then Misty finally remembers a little bit more about the vision that she had when she was sleeping, and explains that it's actually a vision from her past. She says that she used to live in Bridlewood Forest, and also that she said when she was younger, she went to go collect some glow pass crystals in the forest, and while she tried to go back to her family, she got lost, and that Bridlewood just vanished. Then as Misty starts crying, her cutie mark starts to glow, and as well as the tree, and out of nowhere, they summon Breezies from Friendship is Magic out of nowhere. To be honest, I've just given up any hope that anything G4 related will ever be explained properly in this show. Whatever. The Breezies then welcome them inside the tree to see if they can help Misty uncover her past, and maybe help Sparky too with this sickness. We then cut to the side plot of the episode where Alphabettle and Queen Haven are talking about their relationship, and she wants him to move in with her. And I felt like Make Your Mark needs more scenes like this. Now, I'm not saying all the time because I don't want this show to become a goddamn soap opera. I'm just saying every now and then, stuff like this. Then as the gang explore the tree some more, then Misty gets another vision. She gets a vision that she's already been in this tree before. Then a Breezy gives Misty a key, and then she figures out that it must be the key to unlock the door that she saw in one of her visions. But as soon as she makes that connection, Misty all of a sudden then disappears, and then nobody can find her in the tree. We then teleport to Misty, who's apparently been teleported to the forest and the tree that she's seen in her dreams. She tries to see if there's a door there like in her vision, but she can't seem to find it even with the help of another Breezy. Then get to the gang worried about Misty and are about to look for her, but then all of a sudden Sparky starts to glow when he passes by a fossil and starts to run towards it. Apparently it's dragon related relics that make Sparky feel better and make his skin all glow, at least temporarily. Then Misty appears back at the tree to inform the others about what she saw earlier, and tells them that she needs their help to find the door that she saw in her vision. Then Zippy the Pinhead tells the others Then Zip tells the others that she found the door, and they all rush to the location. Then at the last second at the door, Misty then decides to not use the key on herself, but instead to help Sparky get back to normal and take him to the Dragonlands, so that way he can feel better, at the cost of being only able to use the key one time, like the Breezy said. Misty then uses the key to open the portal to go to the Dragonlands on the other side, and Sparky feels 10 times better. Then as they come out of the portal, Misty then remarks that I don't need to find my family because you guys are my real family. And as they're looking at the photos, Misty then somewhat recognizes Alphabettle, and then it turns out that actually it's her dad. Then after hearing this information, they all rush to the tea shop to tell him. We then cut back to Alphabettle and Haven talking about him moving in with her, but he says that he can't. The real reason he can't move in with her is because he needs to be there in Bridlewood Forest if his daughter ever comes home. And then Misty comes home, and then they have a really emotional moment that felt really nice, and then that's the episode. You know, I don't know why this episode didn't open up the chapter, but it was really good for Make Your Mark standards. Like, really good. I thought the first episode was okay, and it seems that Misty is finally being fleshed out in this chapter, and I hope this keeps happening throughout the rest of the chapter episodes. But overall, that was a really good episode of Make Your Mark, and I cannot stress that enough. And what was also a good episode of this chapter was episode 4, Father of the Bridlewood. Misty reuniting with her old dad, Alphabettle, decided they want to hang out today, and so they do that. But the thing is that Alphabettle keeps treating her like a kid, and Misty doesn't want to upset him, even though he treats her like a kid still. Side plot time, Sunny and Izzy and Zip then meet up with the elder of the village, Elderflower, to try to uncover Equestria's past history, but she's only willing to help them on one condition, that they take her on a trip to Zephyr Heights, because she just hasn't been there before, and so they agree. Cut back to Misty and Alphabettle at his tea shop, catching up still, and then he decides that she should perform on stage like she did when she was younger, but then Misty gets nervous and then leaves in fear. Alphabettle then goes after her, and then Misty has one of the best scenes by far in this entire show. I am not kidding you. And I'm not kidding when I say this. When Misty has one of the most real talks in the show, I was genuinely surprised when this scene played. Usually, I'm jaded as fuck. I'll be honest with you people. Whenever I watch My Little Pony nowadays, I'm just completely jaded. Or at least, that's how I see it when I make these videos for YouTube, that is. This scene in Make Your Mark actively showed me why I should care about these characters. But to summarize that scene, Alphabettle tries to comfort Misty while on the bed, but then Misty then says to her dad that things have changed and that she's not a kid anymore. She says she doesn't like the spotlight. She doesn't even know who she is half the time. She says that she struggles every day. She says that she lived a life of mental abuse and has lost identity because of it. She doesn't know anything practically. This is what I was talking about literally in the last Make Your Mark video. I literally said that I didn't know who Misty was as a character and that they needed to develop her more. And this is where we're getting that. This is the chapter. Not only was Misty kidnapped at a young age, was forced into doing Opaline's dirty work, and practically gaslit into thinking that she needed to be with Opaline, when really it was a toxic relationship from the beginning, and has had no communication to the outside world until very recently. This is a very important moment to the story of Make Your Mark, and I just wish that the other 5 characters in this show got the exact same development Misty got from this one scene alone. That's it. Alphabettle and Misty then make up. Sunny and Zip then get 0 answers from Elderflower. She tells them a cool story about some trees, and I will put a pin in that for later, and you'll see why when I get to it. Alphabettle then helps Misty move in with her friends because she's a grown adult. She can do whatever the fuck she wants, and that he feels like it's better for her to be with her friends than to live in Bridlewood with him. And that's one of the best episodes in this show by far. It was just a really, really good episode. Nothing much else to say, honestly. And with that said, with all good things must come to an end, because the next episode, episode 5, Main Smelody, is a Pip episode. God damn it. I had a whole section of notes and jokes for this section of the video, but fuck it. I'm not gonna cover this episode. Again, it's not because it's a Pip episode, which I'm already angry about. It's just a bad episode in general. Yeah, fuck this episode. And with that, we come to the final episode of this chapter, episode 6, Nightmare on Main Street. Hitch calls a town meeting at the sheriff's office to say Happy Nightmare Night, and people don't give a shit until he says that if you find a golden pumpkin, you'll win a prize. And then everybody gives a shit. We then cut to the gang decorating the tree, and then like they're all gonna say what they're gonna dress up as. Pip is gonna be a witch, Hitch is gonna be a pirate, etc, etc, and then Zip's gonna be a
And I'm gonna be a vamp pony. The awesome gang.
You don't know how hard I'm holding back right now. I hate this show so much. Hitch then hides the golden pumpkin that he was supposed to hide earlier, but he's a lazy piece of by the tree that they were decorating. But what Hitch doesn't know is that the pumpkin magically makes all the other pumpkins surrounding it disappear strangely. Cut to Opioid spying on Maritime Bay during the Nightmare Night celebration, when all of a sudden, the pumpkins are starting to teleport to her evil lair, and she gets an idea to be teleported to Maritime Bay. She basically figures out that the tree that she planted in her lair years ago is a together tree, and now I'm gonna unpin that pin I put in episode 4. You see, a together tree is a tree that's connected to other together trees across Equestria and are connected underground by its roots, like Elderflower said in episode 4. If Opaline uses it properly, she can just teleport to Maritime Bay and do whatever she wants. While the gang is getting ready for their Halloween haunted house that Pip is planning and that Misty isn't scared of because she knows true fear, Opaline then arrives at Maritime Bay, and everybody thinks she's a part of the show, or that it's a costume. Man, these people just don't care. Just like me watching this episode so far. Opaline tries to scare the locals, but it comes to no avail. She then stumbles upon Posey and then manages to steal her cutie mark. I don't know. There's like a whole party sequence and Pip trying to scare Misty throughout the whole night. I don't know. It's not really important. So moving forward a little bit, we then cut back to Opaline then going back to her hideout to place Posey's cutie mark on the tree and then reveals how to get more power. She then reveals that she has to get more power by taking the dragon fire, and then we see a first look at what dragons, adult dragons, look like in G5. Then finally we cut to the lighthouse as they're cleaning up from the party last night. While Sparky's just playing around while they're cleaning up, he then steps on the map that Sunny and Zip found last episode, and he starts to glow again. He then breathes fire on the map, and then it's finally revealed what's really on the map. Hitch then notices and then calls everybody into the room, and everybody rushes in. And it turns out that the map actually is a map of the Dragonlands. So now it's set, and they finally have a plan. They have to warn the other dragons about Opaline before it's too late, and they have to reunite Sparky with his true family. And that's how chapter 5 ends. Yeah, it was a fine Halloween themed episode. To be honest with you, it really wasn't grabbing me like the other standout episodes in this chapter, but it was still fun, I guess. It sets up chapter 6 nice, so we'll see how it goes. I don't know. Conclusion time! Yay!
This reminds me of something my dad used to have.
You stupid.
Okay, it's final thoughts time. I'm gonna start off by saying this. I do genuinely feel like Chapter 5 is an improvement and MLP G5 is getting better, at least on the Make Your Mark department. Now, do I think you'll get people to care about it improving? I don't know. But I want to say that although coming into this chapter, I had very low expectations, and I'm talking to the floor expectations, I was somewhat surprised with its quality. Episodes 1, 5, and 6 were either meh or this came out of chapter 2 and tell your tales levels of bad, but that run of like episode 2 through 4 was actually very decent. Nothing annoyed me. It was just, here's the content, go. I feel as though if you are currently a fan of My Little Pony, you will probably enjoy this chapter a lot, and it's overall just fun to watch. I think this is one of the best chapters in Make Your Mark so far, better than chapter 4, and definitely better than those earlier chapters without a question of a doubt. And now with that said, I'm gonna give you how I personally feel about My Little Pony G5 right now. As a person who watches the show, I just think the show is not for me, but I can see where the improvements are being made, and I appreciate that they are at least trying. They are trying something with the show. But yeah, that's my thoughts on this new chapter and just MLP G5 right now. It was good. It was good for what it was. I just hope that it ends well. All right, cool. I'm gonna go work on some other video. I don't know. Also feet. Yummy.
You sure you want me to remove my socks?
Feet.
Peter. The horse is here.